Good morning. My name's Alexiotz. I'm the Raptor Freak, and every morning I do a live stream and talking about the Raptors and what happened with them either the day before or that day. Today's a reaction to the Raptors going to Utah Jazz and playing them last night, and also a preview today of the Sacramento Kings game later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's start with the Utah Jazz game. It was a game of, you know, two halves basically. In the first half, we played them really, really well. Looked really, really good, like we belonged with them, and we were doing all of our stuff alongside while they were doing their stuff. And we ended up having a 1 point lead at halftime, which is fantastic. Honestly, that first half of basketball against the Jazz last night was beautiful. There were a lot of different things that happened in that first half that were really good. And if we could just look at the first half of the game last night, I feel really, really happy about it. But obviously, it's a full game. It's two halves, and in the second half, we just didn't execute and play as well. And that's really the difference in the game. Is we in the second half we didn't play as well as we did in the first half, and we've got to be the kind of team that has a full 48-minute effort. We can't have one bad quarter or anything like that. And last night we had two bad quarters, and they were the last two. But in the first half, a lot of good things happened. And first thing first, thank God Nick Nurse played Kem Birch and started him against Rudy Gobert last night. And people will say, well, it didn't matter. It still didn't, Gobert was still able to get easy baskets and lobs like that. But he does that against everybody. And there were a couple plays last night early in the game where Kem Birch actually stopped them down low. Like he recovered on Bogdanovich when Bogdanovich had an early lay in, and Kem Birch recovered. He wasn't even near him, and he came over and bothered his shot, and then he ended up missing it. So the dividends of having Kem Birch down low to start with rebounding and positional low post defense were there. We saw them. It's just that Rudy Gobert is such a unique, special talent that he's going to get his points down around the basket. At least we kind of limited him in some ways. I don't think Gobert really killed us too much last night. Of course, those easy lobs, they look really bad when you see stuff like that, but that's just we have to play that whole pick and roll kind of thing adjustment. And if you notice, Kem was coming up really high to guard guys on a double. He would come up really high and leave the center, and the center would fall back and come roll towards the basket. And then he'd have to come back and get him, or somebody would have to come and help. And that was just a function of how we're running our defense right now. And it wasn't horrible because they didn't burn us on us too much, but they did burn us on it a couple times. But that's just the scheme. That's the way that they're running the defense for Kem to come and double at the top of the key and leave Gobert, and then have to run back and come get him when that pass comes and agitate his shot then. But I really, really was impressed with the Raptors last night in the first half. Their offense looked really good. Gary Trent is continuing to find a really good groove with his game and his shot. This is the kind of stuff that I was predicting he would do with this year, is find a real consistency, be kind of a meat and potato scorer for us all the time, like finding baskets. It's something we really, really desperately need from him because we're not getting it from guys that are important like Pascal and OG. Obviously, OG's hurt last night, and Pascal, for some mystifying reason, was really looking like last year's Pascal, which is really depressing and disappointing, and I feel bad for him. Because already today, Raptors fan nation is turning on him again and just going off on him and stuff like that. Say, I give him a pass every once in a while just because he's going to have a bad game. And he did. He did last night. He had a bad game. Yeah, I mean, he shot like 2 for 14 or something last night. It was really bad. Like 2 for 14. Yeah, 2 for 14 with 4 points. You can't do that, Pascal. You got to figure it out some way, somehow. Like if you're not making shots and you're at one-on-one or isolation, stuff like that, start concentrating on hitting the boards, Pascal. Be like Scotty and crash the boards and get some garbage points to get your game going. Because I feel like you try and get your game going too much by going to double teams. You go in and get double teamed, and you're trying to force your shot through stuff where it shouldn't be being forced. You should be passing out. So I really want Pascal to find his offense in different ways. And also, in some ways, I blame Fred. because Fred has been playing with Pascal for how many years now, and he should really know how to help Pascal get his offense going. And that's one of the jobs as a point guard, is to facilitate and help his guys get going. And Fred, I don't see you setting up Pascal for success in the right ways. That's something that a point guard needs to do, especially for a number one guy like Pascal. He should be getting good spots and be set up for success. And that should be set up by the coach with his design of the play, and set up by his point guard, who is there to help him get his offense going. Because that is part of it. That job for the point guard is to help other guys on the team get going. And there was none of that. Pascal missed the bunnies. He missed open shots. He missed threes. He missed everything. It was just a really bad off night for him. And it's too bad. It's too bad. On the other hand, we saw some really nice pick and roll two-man game between Kem and Fred. And like, Kem was fantastic in the first half. It was all the kind of things that I was hoping he would do for the team, whether it was establishing good low post defense and rebounding, and then like having that little in the lane shot, that dump off, that really is helpful when we're in trouble. And he could be a part of our offense that we need. This is the thing. We need offense. So, the other thing that Nick did yesterday was awesome, was he did sub the bench in and let the bench play some minutes yesterday. He finally did that. So he did two things that we've been crying out for. He started Kem Birch, and he subbed and let the bench play some good minutes last night. And I don't think that they were that unsuccessful. I thought that they were actually really good at times. Like Malachi looked really good at times. Svi was doing some really tough defense on Joe Ingles. And, he didn't make his 3-point shots, which was disappointing, because he should have been making money on those 3-point shots. And in the second half, that really hurt. If Svi had hit some of his 3-point shots, we might have been able to keep up with him a little bit better. But that's the whole thing. We were in a race with a team that has a really nice, fast car. And our car is being worked on right now. We have a couple pieces that are sitting on the garage floor that aren't in the car. So keeping up with a high-octane, really badass team. Like, honestly, to me, out of everybody we've seen so far this year, I think the Utah Jazz are the best team we've seen so far. That team last night was the most prepared to win an NBA championship out of every team we've seen. I'm talking about Brooklyn. I'm talking about everybody we've seen. The Utah Jazz have the best team we've seen so far. And it's a combination of having these really deadly outside scorers and shooters with Rudy Gobert. And not only that, they have Hassan Whiteside off the bench. So they have good size, and then they have a lot of really good scorers. And Donovan Mitchell is a baller. I mean, the way he was hitting those threes, they were deep, and he was kind of hitting them on his standing from his side and stuff like that. That's a really good scorer, and somebody that's really hard to stop, like Lillard. So that's how it is. I mean, Utah is just that kind of team. And the fact that we hung with them for the first half and played them really well, and without key players that we need, Precious and OG would have really helped last night in some ways with our defense. I think Precious is a big part of our defense right now. And the fact that these teams keep scoring at shooting 55% from the field the last 3 games, it's like the same number. It's so weird. Utah and Portland and Detroit all shot 55% against us. That's an area that just needs to be improved. And maybe it gets better when Precious is back. And OG really is one of our best defenders, and not having him last night against guys like Mitchell and all these other guys running around, it really showed and it hurt. All right, let's see what you guys are saying this morning, guys. Gee, Birch did great. If we had another Birch, we would be a different story. I think so. That's what I'm saying. We just need more depth at that position. The fact that he's like really our only center is kind of scary. Precious is kind of half a center, but he's not really. He'd be so much more utilized if he was playing the 4 and the power forward next to a guy like him. Like, I always love it when we have Boucher and Birch out there together, because it makes us really tall and long, and we have more size down low. Like, Boucher got abused last night after, not only on offense, like he'd go to the basket and get nailed and they wouldn't call him for anything. And that was really bad. That was really bad. The refs were mean to him on that. But also, just like the other team, they really bump him around and just go around him down low. He's not good defensively near the basket, unfortunately. He's good at help defense, but he really can't clog the lane or stop anybody down near the basket like Kem can. And really, Kem was showing it at times. He was a real seal at times where they couldn't score it right at the basket. And I love that. He's the only one who's showing that, really. And when you couple him with Scotty on crashing the boards, we see the offensive rebounds that they get. They had like 5 or 6 offensive rebounds in the first 5 minutes of the game last night. And that was fantastic. We were doing all the things that we do really well to stay in the game and do well. Because, like, the Utah announcers were like, wow, I don't understand how they're still in the game. And it was really getting steals and getting in transition off turnovers and scoring that way, and then getting putbacks and getting offensive rebounds. That's how we're manufacturing points to keep up with a team like them. And we were shooting good at the 3 in the first half. And then the 3-pointers just didn't go at all in the second half. And that's a real difference, is you can't keep up with that high speed offense that they're playing at. Like in the third quarter, we only scored like 17 points and they had 31 points. And that's a big difference. And we can't come back from a hole like that against a really high octane offense like that with guys like Gobert that can just score when they want to. So, Alistair, good morning, man. It was a tough loss last night, but you know what? I feel better about the loss last night than most of the losses we've been having lately, because this was a game we were supposed to lose. And it's also, we looked good in the game. We didn't look horrible in this game like other games we've lost recently. I thought we looked horrible against Detroit, and Portland we did look bad against at times too. So, Alistair, Utah spacing helped our defense, less doubling. Maybe we are over doubling, because this is really the outcomes of having all these open threes bombed on us is from over doubling. And the scouting report right now on the Raptors is let them over cover, and then we can just find the open shot. And it's working for other teams. I think that's a big problem, and that may be an area where we need to adjust. Like Nick Nurse needs to figure out when it's worth putting that pressure on and doubling then. Like, where do we double and when is the most effective? Because we may be over doubling and it's really causing too much easy stuff for the other team. And that's why they're shooting so high, 55%. Because, that you lose your guy, and then, there's somebody open somewhere, and they're finding them before we're finding them on defense. And that's not good. That's not good. Champagny needs more time. Champagny got in at the end of the game. It was really nice to see. The announcers didn't know his name for Utah. They were like, who's that guy? And then they tried to figure it out after he scored. And then finally they said his name. But yeah, he's active and he's scrappy. And we just need more guys from the bench playing in general. Like, we saw good minutes from our main guys last night. Like, Fred got 34 minutes and Scotty 35. Nobody went over 35 minutes last night, which is great, because that's where I'd like to see their limit, like the limit cap on the minutes for the top guys is 35 minutes. So that means Champagny somehow is going to get some minutes. And that was good to see him out there. And I'd love to see him more on the boards. I love seeing him rebound. I want to see him get those rebounds against the big dogs, the little dog getting in the fight and just scrapping and getting those rebounds, because it's really impressive what Champagny does down low sometimes. I love it. All right, Darren, I love your comments last night. Thanks for coming in from Jakarta last night and talking about stuff. I want to talk about what you were talking about there and stuff like that. Okay, let's hear what you're saying, Darren. All right, the reason they lost, missing 6 threes in a row. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was bad. And it was a couple of different guys. And meanwhile, the other team was still not missing a beat. Like, Utah was hitting pretty most of their shots. Bogdanovich was not shooting well, which was great, because I was like, yes, Bogdanovich is not shooting well. But the other guys, they were all shooting pretty well. I mean, we look at this. We got O'Neal at 4 for 6 for 3. And we got Rudy Gay 5 for 6. Now, let me talk about Rudy Gay. This is such a weird full circle thing with Rudy Gay. If you think about Rudy Gay's career, and about 10 years ago, he was on the Raptors, and he was the one we traded to Sacramento, where we're going tonight, which is so weird. And we made that big trade. And we got Patrick Patterson and Gravis Vasquez and John Salmons, and we got like 4 players for Rudy. And it was really kind of the catalyst, the beginning of our great run, like that we've been on. since Kyle and DeMar and all that stuff was getting those players, and we started becoming a good playoff team. So it was really interesting, full circle, and to see Rudy Gay coming in the game yesterday. He wasn't going to play. He got added to the game because he was the only guy on the injury list for Utah, and then he got his first game, his debut for them last night, and he played exceptional. I mean, this is a guy who's been in the league for 15, 16 years, and he really knows what he's doing. And that kind of exemplifies the difference between Utah and us, is that they're a team that's been together for a long time. They're playoff tested. They have guys that are real ballers like Donovan Mitchell, and they have big, good size guys like Rudy Gobert. So, and then you throw in a guy like Rudy Gay, who's a real, like, knows what he's doing. And if he has rookies or more an inexperienced player guarding him, he'll pick them apart. And that's what he did last night. I'm not a big fan of Rudy like I am of DeMar and Kyle. I'm a fan of that trade that happened with him. But I do understand the importance of him in our history of the Raptors. And he kind of was the really bad part at the end of the bad part before we got really good. And I respect Rudy Gay for that. But yeah, it was tough. And then, all right, Darren, shooting has been a nightmare all season, really. Yeah, it really has. It has, because I don't know if other teams are adjusting and finding out who are hot guys are from the first half, and then they're coming and cooling them off in the second half. Or, Gary played really well pretty much through the whole game. And he really is so important, because he is one of the only steady shooters on our team, steadily scoring right now. And Pascal he was nothing last night. He couldn't do anything. And with no OG, and even Fred was assertive in the beginning of the game, but he wasn't that assertive later in the game at all. Like, he really wasn't doing as much as I would hope Fred VanVleet could have done in that game also. So it is bad. It's really, really bad. And I feel like what we need to do is set up a better offensive set or system to help set up these guys to get these open shots. Like, one of the things that was bugging me last night was Khem Birch had open threes at the top of the key over and over again, and he should have took them. He passed them to the next guy next, because if he shoots that three and brings Gobert out of the paint to have to guard him at the top of the three, that opens things up down low in all kinds of ways for people. So Khem Birch needed them to respect his three-point shooting last night, but he was hesitant. He didn't shoot them. He had them open at the top of the key maybe 2 or 3 times. I saw that. He should have pulled the trigger instead of pushing it to the next guy around the line. So it's tough. Darren, Achua's rebounds are missed, and his footwork on D outside the paint. Yeah, Precious Achua is just physical and active, and he's been a big key. And, like, one of the things we're missing, I'm realizing how much Precious does for us in these last few games, as far as, like, agitating shots and just being a nuisance on the court in general for the other team. And we need a lot of different stuff right now. We have a lot of promise, but we are so raw. And, the rookie guys are making rookie mistakes now. Finally, they had a good run in the beginning of the year where they weren't making any mistakes, but now Scotty and Delano are kind of coming more down to earth with their rookiness. And this is all stuff we have to deal with and reckon with and get past and fix. And it's a learning process, but I really love the base floor that we're starting off with this team in development and where they can grow and get to. Because, I was pie in the sky. I was like, man, we could win the championship this year. We could do all this. And I'm getting ahead of myself. But we can do a lot of good stuff and still surprise and still get ahead quickly. And I think that our ceiling, and once we get near the top, is we're going to be so nasty. It's just we really got to learn each other, and we really got to get everybody together. And we really need to figure out who our rotation is and what our roles are on the team, because I don't think that everybody necessarily on this team understands what their role is in some ways. Like, I think that Pascal, OG, Scotty, Fred, those guys are all kind of ambiguous with their roles right now in some ways about who's going to be the key guy, the steady guy, the reliable guy. And if we can't have it be different guys every night, sometimes we need one of them to be at least the steady for sure. And right now is Gary Trent. Gary Trent has been the one steady guy for sure, like in the last few games. And I think it's been fantastic. All right, let's see. Darren's going off. I have to read all your stuff, Darren. Okay, let's see. I think again we see Gary Trent's the real deal is so steady. Just was saying is insane. It was really insane. He's beautiful to watch. Honestly, the way Gary operates with his footwork and just like one of the things the Utah Jazz announcer said, Thurl Bailey, who used to play for them in the '80s, he said that he really likes his dribble because he's really controlled, and because of the way he handles himself with the ball, he's the kind of guy who can stop on a dime and take a shot, and they don't know when he's going to do it. So he really keeps defenders on their toes and on their feet, not knowing when he's going to release or take the shot or do something like that. And that's fantastic. I want him to continue to keep growing. And if Gary Trent Jr. becomes like our main scorer or our most important scorer, because these other guys are just being lazy, or not lazy, or just sucking, like Pascal did last night. Hey, it's the job listings on the wall. Anybody who wants to try and take the job, come take it. And Gary Trent can do that consistently. I love him for it. Please, Gary. He's got this whole Holt Renfrew ad campaign out now where he's like, I'm clothes and I'm style and all this stuff. And all the Raptors go on his Instagram and they comment themselves. And OG's comments funny and Scotty's comments funny. It's just like they're kind of making fun of him, the drip god. But his style is pretty cool. He's kind of taken over the Serge Ibaka, like I'm the style icon of this team kind of thing right now. So let's see. I think Utah may win the West. They have a good balance. They really do have a good balance. And they're deep, man. They're deep. They've got two teams of really good guys. I mean, they don't even need to use Mike Conley some nights. That they were talking about how they sit him a lot of nights just because of load management for him. And then, you got Jordan Clarkson coming up after him, who came out and they're calling him the Human Torch because the way he just comes out and he shoots fire with his shots right away. And he did. He hit his first couple of threes when he came out first. And, they just have a lot of good shooters. And that is something I guess maybe that's where we see a lack in our team. When we see a team come out there with so many good 3-point shooters, it's pretty much seems like that team is Gobert and a bunch of good 3-point shooters. And, they really did kill us from three. That was a big thing right there. And, it was a marathon to score in. If we weren't going to shut them down completely, then we were going to be in a marathon of scoring, and we couldn't keep up with their firepower. There just is no way because on their bench, their bench scoring was insane last night for Utah. They got 50 points off the bench almost, and meanwhile we struggled to get 20 points off the bench last night. So these are just tough differences. And, I don't think it's a testament that we have bad talent. I think that our talent, it just needs to be more developed and get more honed and be more better. There's ways that we could get better. Obviously, Pascal could play better. Scotty could play bigger and better too. He did do a lot of aggressive things out on the court last night. I love how he's doing that mid-range and taking it to Donovan Mitchell. And, Scotty was playing great again last night. But once again, if you look at his stats, 10 points. He could have got more points. We want him to score more. We want to get him to get closer to 20 because we need the points. So, all right, let's keep going. Darren, out of nowhere again with people hitting threes at some crazy rate. Even if you're wide open, you don't hit 50 to 60% of threes. Yeah, it is insane. They shot 41% for three, but that's still they were hitting a lot of them. And we want the other team to shoot 41% from the field, not from 3-point range, because that's still really good for threes. So, yeah, it's just tough. It's tough. They're coached pretty well. Their coach is a really weird guy, that Snyder guy. To me, he looks like a combination of a bunch of Batman villains all into one. He looks mentally deranged. When you see him, when they cut to Quinn Snyder, he's like, it's like he went into a laboratory and he made some crazy concoction and he's like, he's a weird dude, but he's a good coach. Obviously he's getting a lot out of these guys, and they're really running really efficiently and well. I was super impressed with Utah. And I think that G and I, this is a pick for who might win the West. Seriously, if they can stay healthy overall, they can't lose Gobert for some time, and they won't do it then. Or Mitchell, even if they lose Mitchell for a good part of the season, that would be bad too for them. But if they stay healthy, they could be top dog in the West. I could see them. They'll have a good clash with Golden State, but I could see them have. They're better than Portland. That's what I know. All right, let's see. We had a bunch of players last season with 30-point games. This year, not yet. Yeah, well, also those 30-point games near the end of the season last year were also garbage games. You had like Jalen Harris and Stanley Johnson coming out and getting 30-point games, but really our season was over by then. So it was like it didn't really matter. So they weren't really, it's not like they were doing it when it was like high stakes or anything. Things are high stakes right now. Every single game in the NBA right now is getting played like at a playoff intensity a lot of times. And teams are going really at it. Nobody's dogging it right now. They're really going at it and playing hard right now. That's just the new style and the new way that we're playing. Like this lazy idea of the NBA is just a bunch of millionaires who just dribble the ball up and just that's gone, because they want to go back to this 80s style crash bash and put them on the ground and hard fouls and grind it out and like really work for the game. They're trying to remake the image of the NBA from being a cushy, like no touch league that it came over the last 10, 15 years, where everybody was like, oh, it's like, no, we're just style and finesse, kind of European style. No, we're going back to the blue collar, old school Detroit Pistons bad boys style basketball now. And that's changing a lot of things in the league in different ways. It really is. Darren, Pascal in a funk. I hope he gets out of his head. He has to stop reading social media. I hope he's not reading social media. Oh my God. Some of the Raptors fans, what they were saying after the game last night, I'm ashamed of them. Come on, guys. We got to have more be on the same team. It's like if you're in war, you don't turn the gun on your buddy just because he missed a bunch of shots shooting at the other guys. We gotta stay in the trenches with our guys. We can't turn on them so quick. Guys will have bad games. This is just natural. They'll have good and bad games. And Pascal had a bad game last night. He really did. And I'm not going to give him too much credit for anything, but I don't want to dog him either, because I understand that these things happen. And he is still kind of working his way back. He had that really good game recently, and now he's had a really bad game. So let's see how he responds tonight, actually. Like Sacramento is a team that he could really operate and deal against. And I think that, maybe he'll have a really big game tonight because he feels like he played like absolute dog shit last night. So I'm going to give Pascal a pass today just because everybody else, that's the flavor of the day. Bash Pascal, say he's got to get traded. That's too easy right now. It's like, let's hang with our guy and give him a chance to regroup and show something else, because he did look like Pascal last year like when he was really bad last night. And that's scary. We don't want him to be that player because there's a lot of money invested in him. And now everybody's getting their trade machine out and they're seeing who else in the league's worth $33 million a year. And they want to show like, oh, well, this trade could happen. And I'm like, no, just let him play through it. We'll get through it. And like I said, I want Fred to help him. Fred, you're Pascal's friend. Help him. Come on, man. All right. Darren, well, Fred VanVleet, OG, Gary Trent Jr., 30-plus games. I'm not sure what that – oh, yeah. They've had 30-plus games. Yeah. We need a guy who can consistently try and get and flirt with 30 points for sure. I think we had like 8 last night, some crazy number. Even Boucher did it. Yeah. Yeah, and Boucher could do it again this year. Honestly, this is the thing. Boucher could go off and get a 30-point game. He just needs his 3-point shot to start going in. And, he's had such rough luck this year. Even last night, he had some tough, they're hitting him hard. Every time he goes to the basket, he's really risking his life. Like he was getting off the ground. How scary that is when you leave the ground in basketball and somebody comes and hits you and you're going to fall on the ground on your side. And that's not fun. And he had a couple of plays in the first half last night where they hit him in the air and they didn't call shit. The refs didn't call nothing. And we had kind of bad refs last night. Mark Davis was there. I hate Mark Davis. He's the worst. And actually, it's good that we got Mark Davis last night. Hopefully, he's not coming with us to Sacramento, because he's the one who fucked us over in Sacramento and didn't give us points, and he's done dirty shit to us. And then the lady ref that doesn't like Kyle was there last night too. But we don't have Kyle anymore. And actually, the refs were being really tough on Utah last night, which was great. But they didn't call some stuff that was very physical on Chris last night that I didn't like that. And that just shows like a bias against him in some ways. It's really hard to get your game going again when you're trying to go to the basket for an easy shot and you're getting nailed and you can't finish it. So he's having hard times because he's getting played physical And he it's really hard for a guy with his body type, and they're not giving him any calls. So what can he do? It's tough, man. All right, let's see. Yeah, Paul Watson had a 30-point game last year. I mean, it's crazy. It was fun in some ways, and those were kind of like little consolation prizes for last year, seeing those big games from different players and stuff like that. Players hesitate on the three. Birch, Delano, Scotty, even Pascal. Yeah, Scotty gets open threes and he doesn't take them. I think Delano has been pretty good about taking them when he gets them. But I think that those names that you just put on that list are right. Birch, Scotty, and Pascal for sure. Pascal, I don't understand why he's hesitating with his three, because that is sometimes the easiest way for him to get going, is that he just hits a three all of a sudden out of the blue, and then all of a sudden his close to the basket stuff gets better for him. But also, I don't like him trying to get his game going by shooting threes, because that's not the right way to do it. I just don't know what's going on with Pascal. I mean, he's hurting us in some ways, and his offense is not good right now. So it's tough. We just need him to figure it out. But, one thing that did look better was, even though OG was out, I think the team's a lot more efficient and clearly defined when they're not three of those three guys starting, Scotty, OG, and Pascal. I think it's too ambiguous, their roles and what they're supposed to be doing. And then when you put Kem Birch out there with them, it's more, the roles are more defined, and you can have two wings actually working. Because when you have three wings, it doesn't work as well. It's kind of weird. So we look more like a team that was efficient and cohesive, with Kem Birch out there with two forwards and two guards. That was what I really liked about the first half last night. And, that's something that I hope that we continue to be consistent with going forward, Nick Nurse. But we'll see. He's going to switch things up all the time. Hopefully we see him again tonight, Kem Birch, in the starting lineup, because there is some height. There's some big height on Sacramento tonight. They actually have a tall team. They're very much the same team from the last couple of years. They're young, but they're also kind of very scrappy and talented, and they can win games if you let them get into it with them. And their record's not bad. But this is a game we absolutely need to win tonight. This is the easiest one probably on this road trip, maybe. I don't know if Indiana might be easier, but this is one we really need to win, if not just to feel better, palate cleanser for these losses we've been getting lately. It's just one of those ones that we need to get. And they have weapons. I mean, there's Fox, there's Bagley, there's different guys. There's Buddy Hield, Halliburton. They've got different weapons on it. Terrence Davis is on this team we're going to play tonight. So we'll see what happens. But they're not super experienced. They're young team, but they are talented, and it's going to be a fight. It's going to be similar to the Cleveland and the Detroit game, where it's going to be a fight. And I know we lost both those games, but it's really, we're going to have to scrap with them tonight, Sacramento. That's kind of my preview for tonight, what I just did right there. Let's see. Pascal. I think Pascal is shook, I think Darren says. Pascal needs to drive, spin, and pass, but people need to help and cut. Yeah, I think in general, I think our team movement on offense just needs to be better. Like I've been saying, there's too much of this dribbling up at the top of the key to set up. I don't know what they're doing. Everybody's standing around, and Fred's just dribbling at the top of the key. And then all of a sudden he tries to pull a one-on-one move against a center and shoot over a center somehow. That's happening too much. We need that ball movement to start going and getting around and going all over the place and stuff like that. And the guys need to move. And this is why we need Yuta. Yuta will cut. Yuta is the straw that stirs the drink. You put him out there and he's always moving. So you always have a moving target. But sometimes it seems like our offense is getting back to these old days where we stand around and watch and wait for other guys to do something. I hate that. All of them should be moving or something. Or maybe Nick Nurse needs to make some plays where they move around and stop calling isolation. Isolation is not working because our guys in some ways aren't ready to beat guys on isolation because they haven't become those kind of players yet. I don't think that Pascal and OG are the best in isolation. I think they're better in a passing game, getting an open shot or finding open shots that way. Sure, maybe you bring them down to isolation to get a double team, but that's always to kick it out. I hate them trying to force shots against two or three guys. When they do that, it always looks bad. It looks bad. They get blocked or they just miss the shot. So Pascal, maybe you need to think pass first for a little while. When you get the ball down low, you need to just start passing it more than you just keep trying to force shots going up. And that may make things a lot better in the long run for you to get your shots open. When you pass it enough, they'll think, oh, he's going to pass it out of the double team. They'll lay off you, and then you can switch back to, oh no, I'm scoring, and then score back. And you got to keep them guessing. And that's the problem with him and OG is they don't keep people guessing with their offense. They know they're just going to try and bull their way to the basket or try and spin their way to the basket. And they've got the memo. They know what to look for with them, and they know how to stop it at this point. So they need to adjust their offensive games and how they're attacking the basket to be more pass out of it and find the open man. That's what they're doing. They're adjusting to our double teams and passing and find the open man. And that's how other teams are having success. So we need to do the same thing when that's happening to our key guys down low. And I think that's a big part of it right there, Darren. I know people are pissed at Pascal, but they need to chill. It doesn't help him by slandering him so bad. Yeah, I really hope he just turns off all of his social media and he just doesn't listen to anybody when this kind of stuff's happening with his game on the court, because it could be really detrimental to somebody's mental health. And this is like a symbolic thing for all of us in our lives and stuff like that. Like, I had somebody who says they're a Raptor fan trolling me last night, talking to me about what happened to your whole prediction of them winning a championship this year, Raptor Freak, and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, motherfucker, come at me with that shit. And I was like, are you really a fan? You want to come and make fun of fans that thought they could win a championship this year and still maybe on the download believe they could if the right things align and things happen? But anybody who does that, who puts somebody down for believing they could win it all or making fun of them during the season, you're not a real fucking fan. You're just an asshole who likes to make fun of people and talk shit. And I'll tell you, some of these people that talk shit online in these Raptors groups and stuff like that, they don't know me. I'm 6'4", 220 pounds. I can take care of myself. I grew up in the dirty South in Florida, and I was in a lot of scraps back when I was younger and stuff like that. And I know some of these people that say these things to me would never say these things to my face. And I'm like, you could be a keyboard warrior, but you know what? You would never say this to me in my face. And I had to block a guy last night because of this, because I was just like, you know what? It's more important to you and your ego to be right than to allow somebody to have a dream. I want to have a dream that the Raptors win a championship this year. And there's nothing wrong with that. And any other true blue fan like you guys would be like, yeah, we'd love that dream too. But you wouldn't put me down for being like that or think that I'm a fool or frivolous or an idiot for thinking that. That's just me being a fan. And when somebody starts acting like that towards you, they're gaslighting you and they're kind of just being a troll, and you need to just cut it out. You don't need these people in your life. Like, this guy was trying to talk to me like, oh, you need to listen to me because my opinion is valid. You know what? Your opinion doesn't mean shit to me, man. I'll just block you in a heartbeat, because there's no reason that I have to listen to your opinion. This is not like in real world. People don't just walk up to somebody and just start talking to them and say, yeah, you have to listen to my opinion. Fuck you. That's what I want to say to that guy last night that I blocked during the game last night, because I'm just sick of this. Like, are you a fan? Then why are you getting down on people that believe they can win? And why are you making fun of people for that? You're not really a fan if you act like that. That's how I really believe. And you can be like, yeah, it's not realistic. I don't know if they're going to win, but you should never make fun of somebody for believing in something or having a hope. It's like, what an asshole. Anyway, that was just my little side about like keyboard warriors and trolls, because you're on notice with me. You come at me, you're going to find out real quick, either in real life or online. I'll just block your ass. I mean, that's what we have to do. There's so many other people in the world and important people, great people to talk to, like you guys. I don't have time for people like that. It's just they have an agenda, and it's really about their ego and feeling good about themselves by being a troll. So, all right, let's see. Darren, there have been some great play both on defense and offense this season. Some of these quarters have been awesome. Yeah, that first half last night was glorious, man. At halftime, I felt so good because we were winning, and it was like, yes. And Utah played really good in that first half too. We both played really good, and we ended up being on top by 1 point at the end of it. I was like, yes, this is great, because I just wanted to see us compete with this team last night. I knew we probably weren't going to win. It was probably going to be like a game where maybe it got close near the end, and then we were going to lose by a heartbreaker, by a big shot by Donovan Mitchell or something like that. So, and you know what? They didn't keep it close. In the second half, it wasn't close, and we were having a hard time keeping up with them. But still, the way we played, we got two good the first two quarters were really good and something to build off of. Look at the success and the things we did good in that first half. and then kind of look at the second half and see, well, this is where it all fell apart and how. So yeah, I mean, honestly, that we've been playing good stretches of basketball for parts of games, and there's certain games where we just have one bad quarter and we lose by like a couple points, and that's basketball. We got to play a good game all 48, and last night we had good 24. That's something to build off of, especially against a caliber team like Utah. That's what I really believe. Alistair, thanks again for being here, man. I think we should start Svi instead of Scotty. He's better spacing for three, plus he started during the 5-game streak. That's a good point. Svi was involved in that 5-game streak. I think that's not necessary. I think that when OG comes back, maybe we take Scotty out then. But I think this Scotty's good in the starting lineup when either Pascal or OG's out. But when both of them are back and there's Pascal and OG available, I think Scotty should be coming off the bench then. But I don't know if Svi should start. He did do really well when he was starting. He got a lot of points and doing stuff like that. And maybe he's not doing so well off the bench right now with his, his shooting needs to be way better. Svi's in trouble, honestly. If he doesn't get his shooting together soon, like where he's making his open shots, I could see Goran getting his minutes soon. Because we just want somebody that can hit open three-pointers off the bench. And if he's not hitting the three-pointers, then give it to the next guy, the next shot, and let Goran have a chance to be the guy that will hit those three-pointers in case. I know Svi gives us a lot of other stuff, like a little more height, a little more rebounding, and a little bit of other stuff, but he really needs to make these threes. And his three-point shooting in the last week or so has been not very good. He should be automatic. He needs to be our automatic three-point shooter. So, I think that Scotty should go to the bench, though, eventually when OG's back. But this is the thing. That OG injury is worse than we thought. The hip pointer, they're saying it's going to be 2 weeks. 1 to 2 weeks, one at the least, maybe 2 weeks that OG's out. So this could be bad. This could be this kind of year where we're dealing with injuries and just meddling along because we have too many injuries from time to time, and we're not that good with injuries. We really aren't. That's the difference. Is like Darren said, with injuries, we don't have the full car. We don't have the whole thing to go against their hot rod because we're missing like a wheel or something like that. So it's really bad. It's really bad. Let's see. Gee, that's why I think we should have kept Decker, but Masai's probably up to something. Yeah, I was really between Decker and Bonga, and I think Bonga's just more all around good. Like Bonga can shoot threes too. He's been hitting threes for 905. They're playing tonight, guys. By the way, if you guys are interested, do a double header tonight because the Sacramento game is at 10 and the 905 game is at 7. You can watch the 905 game on the G League website for free through a stream from the Raptors 905 website. You can watch that game and then go right into watching the Sacramento game tonight. Double header of Raptors tonight. I'm going to do that myself tonight. So check it out. All right, let's see. Yeah, Bonga hits a lot of threes like right now. He's been hitting threes. He's doing it all for them. Like, honestly, he looks like he can do anything on the court for the 905 right now. So that's why he stayed back, and he'll be on display tonight in that game. And that may be more of the pieces that are like, oh, now I see why they kept him over Sam Decker. Because I think Sam Decker really is just a three-point shooter. Like, that's really mostly his game. And Bonga can do a lot of other stuff too. So let's see. Where are we? We are Darren. We need balance. OG, Fred VanVleet, Pascal, and Gary Trent Jr. all can score 30 any given night. If they could just pass, shoot more, like in Portland, first quarter, that was so amazing. The Raps have all the tools. We've got all this talent. We just got to get the synergy. We just got to understand each other's nuances and second natures and stuff like that. That's the thing. Utah and Portland, they've got guys that have been playing together for 5-10 years, and they really know each other and they know their spots and stuff. And so when we get more of that with the guys in different ways, especially with Scotty and Delano and Precious, the more and more easier. It'll get better and easier. Like there's been some breaks last night that were really good. Like that one break where they passed it around a little bit and they got it to Kem. That could have been a mess up because of like something stupid, but we made sure that went in. This is that kind of stuff, All right. What is that? Asperger, I think my guess, Utah. Oh, you think he has Asperger's? Interesting. Quinn Schneider. Yeah, no, he just I don't know what it is. Like to me, and I'm not trying to be funny or make fun of the man if he has an issue or something like that, but it's just like his facial expressions out on the court. He's very like he looks devious. Like he looks like he's threatening to gas the city like the Joker would or something like that. Like I don't know. I think he's cool, and like I said, he's a good coach. But to me, he's like if you painted his face half one color, he'd be Two-Face from like Batman or something like that. Or he weirdly looks like Two-Face, the Joker, and the Riddler all at once. Like to me, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's wrong for me to make fun of people for that, but I don't know. It's the opposition. I made fun of the referees the other night for looking like they were out of Leave It to Beaver. I'll just make a little fun observations about their coach. And not mean spirited. I like Quinn Snyder. I think he's a good coach. He's obviously a good coach. They did that with Fred too. Don't respect that part of our fan base. Criticizing one thing, salt and slander don't help. Yeah, they did that to Fred. They've done it to Kyle. They've done it to DeMar. They've done it to everybody that's been big or important or had to be kind of a clutch guy for our team has all gone through this ringer of things. And like I said, I hope these guys just don't pay attention to this kind of stuff. I mean, before social media, life was so different. And, these players didn't have to deal with this kind of stuff in their face. But now it's kind of like there and they can go look at it if they want to. And it's kind of like Pandora's box. Should we look at it? Like, no, don't look at it. That kind of stuff. Because it can really this is a symptom of everybody in our lives. Like you can get trolled and you can get bashed by somebody online. It can hurt our mental health. It can hurt our self-image. It can hurt how we feel about ourselves because that kind of stuff is really damaging in some ways. People say, "Oh, be tough, dude, be tough. Don't let take it to heart and stuff like that." But no, people are sensitive people, and people people need to be more considerate of each other. And so one of the things the troll last night was saying, well, you can use free speech. Everybody should be able to, fuck you, man. If you're an asshole and you're coming at somebody like an asshole, we have the right to block you off and not listen to you. And that's just it needs to be that way. And it's stupid. I think that the fans that are like that in Raptor Fan Nation, they have problems in their own lives and they're just manifesting in how they're being fans. Like, I feel like if the way you treat your team is like kind of the way you feel about yourself. So if you're treating your team in a positive way and you feel like success and going forward, then that may be more of a reflection of your attitude about life. And some of these other people that are really down on the team or like find it as a place for a punching bag, they may have a lot of awful things going on in their life. And this is the one thing they can abuse around them to feel better for themselves. And how pathetic is that? So, yeah, I hate it too. I wish people wouldn't turn on our team just because they have a couple bad games or something like that. It's just, you know what? I don't have time for those kind of fans. I don't have time for those kind of fans that laugh at me for thinking they can win the championship. I just don't have time. I only want to be around positive, good fans. And like if somebody came in here and, you can have an opinion and it can be critical of the team, but if it's constructive, I'm no problem with that. But, the other day, the guy came in here, he started calling him Pooh Siakam. I'm like, no, I'm not down with that, dude. And I'm glad y'all roasted that guy for that because that's not something that is constructive or good. That's just dehumanizing and stupid. It's stupid. You're like a child. You calling him Pooh Siakam. What is that? That's garbage. All right, let's see. Porzingis, Pascal, 30 million per year. Yeah. I was looking at Dallas again, just because the Dallas fans are really down on Willie Cauley-Stein. They hate him right now. They hate him. They're crying out for the trade for Goran, but Cauley-Stein's only making $3 million a year or something like that. So the lineup, it's like they have to give up even more than Cauley-Stein to get Dragic, but they want Dragic. There was a post of Dragic talking about getting in the game against Detroit the other day. They posted, and all the Mavs fans were on there. Why don't they use him? They should just trade him to us so he can be with Luka. Yeah, let's give him Cauley-Stein. So the fans are ready to give us Willie Cauley-Stein. So, but it's just making those numbers line up. So maybe there's some way of doing it with the third team that would make it work, where we ended up with somebody like Willie Cauley-Stein. I mean, I don't know. They think he's garbage, but maybe he could come here and he could be really good for us. He'd be some more of what we need. But that straight up, Porzingis for Pascal, I don't know if I do that still. Porzingis has so many flaws to his game, and like his good things about him are not always consistent. So he's not necessarily an answer for this. And I think that we don't need to give up on Pascal so soon. This is a similar thing to DeMar. Like DeMar, we kind of gave up on him and traded him for Kawhi right before he was about to come this really good clutch, like I can take over the game, well polished kind of dude. And we got to watch out for that because we may trade Pascal in a really dumb way at some point, and then all of a sudden he goes to another team and he finally blossoms to that next stage that we've been hoping for, where he's just unstoppable. And I'd like us to reap those gains and those rewards for this time invested in him, then send him too early to somebody else short-sightedly and see him blow up on another team and get to that next level then. I mean, but that's an interesting one. I've actually looked at that before, Darren, that Porzingis Pascal trade. I've actually looked at that specifically. It's interesting you brought that up. And I love that you said the next comment that you'd rather have Pascal. Yeah, I believe that too. Hassan hit Boucher so hard. I don't get these refs. Yeah, they were murdering him around the court. I mean, you can see why guys like him and OG and Pascal are so discouraged in some ways, because they get hit. We hear Pascal getting hit. You know, we hear him go, ah! You know, sometimes he does get the call. He is getting a little bit more respect, like as time goes on, but it's like too little, too late kind of respect. Like we've been getting hammered for 4 years, and now you're finally letting me go to the line like twice a game or something like that. It's that kind of stuff right now. Gobert is C Hunt. Is a C Hunt. What? Oh, I'm gonna guess that you're calling him that nasty word. That it shouldn't be used against women. Yeah. I don't know. I like Gobert. Stevie Roots hates Gobert. Like he really hates Gobert. And you guys know this whole thing about Giannis last year when we tried to get our salary cap right to sign Giannis. Our backup plan was Gobert. If we weren't going to get Giannis, we were going to try and get Gobert. But they both doubled down with their existing franchises and got the Supermax deal locked in during the season last year. So it was for not either one of them. But if Giannis had done it and then Gobert hadn't, Masai was going to try and sign Rudy Gobert to the Raptors. And that would have been nasty. I would have loved that. I love having Rudy Gobert on our team, but Stevie Roots is like, no, man, he's a punk. He's like, he's an idiot. He grabbed the microphones during COVID, and he's the one who caused all this pandemic. For some reason, he thinks he caused a pandemic. This is not Wuhan, man. I know he was at the epicenter of the whole start of it, but, Rudy Gobert is a good player, and we'd be really lucky to have him on our team. I mean, that'd be fantastic. I mean, gosh. But, yeah, he's annoying if you're playing against him, for sure. I'm going to guess that's what you were saying, Darren. That's this tricky way to say that. All right, they were worried Yuta had it. Yeah, all right, let's talk about this. I saw that interview with Yuta yesterday, and honestly, I'm really worried about his career right now, because this is the thing. He's gotten injured the same way twice, where it's popping out, and there's no guarantee whether it won't just keep happening. Like if he's going to keep trying to come back, it could pop out again, and then he's out another 2 weeks. I'm really concerned about Yuta's NBA career right now, because it sounds like the injury that he has is something that could be reoccurring and could really, really limit him. He said in the interview yesterday that the coaches, the training staff is used to dealing with this kind of injury, and that he feels confident in them to help him get through it and have success getting out of it. But you can tell he's scared, and you can tell that it may not work out. It sucks. I really want to see you to get out there and be an important part of this team, but this is a sad part of this sport, is that injuries can take you out. And I really hope that isn't the case for you. I want to see him get out there as soon as possible, because he's a great player, and he would really do a lot of good things for us. And it would be sad to see his career ended short because of some dumb injury like the one he has right now. And thank God it wasn't an Achilles tear, but there is a pop that's happening with his lower ankle, and like it's scary because it's happened twice. That's the thing. It's happened twice in the last 2 months when he's tried to come back. So who's to guarantee that it won't happen again when he's trying to come back with full contact again? So hopefully, yeah, it tore his calf almost. I don't think it's totally, I don't know exactly what it is, like if it's a tear or sprain or what they're calling it, but it was a pop. is what he described it as. It popped when he wasn't even getting hit or anything. He was just making a move to the basket by himself. Nobody touching him, and his leg just popped. So that's scary. That's really scary. Pascal had 5 assists, second most on the team. Yeah, he's doing little things on down low, a couple things here and there. They're pretty good. But still, he could have got way more rebounds last night. Like, honestly, where were the rebounds, Pascal? All right, let's see. Keep going. Darren, he's dealing with tears and strains. Sucks. Really sad. Lumpy, good morning, Lumpy. Glad you made the live stream. Quick comment here because I'm at work. Big ouchie last night. Had to hit the bed early. Well, you might have saw the best part of the game, Lumpy, if you watched the first half, and you were spared the second half and all that stuff. It wasn't that bad, honestly. I was proud of our effort throughout the whole game for the most part, other than we didn't stop them and we couldn't score. But I thought our effort was pretty good. We were still running out at shots, and we were still trying really hard to get all the loose balls and scrapping for rebounds and stuff. So I can't dog them for effort like I can in some of the other games this week, like Detroit and Portland. I think that there was much less effort than there was last night against Utah. So they really did play hard last night. So Darren, yeah, I think they can be in the finals and win still possible. It's also possible still. People don't want to think it's possible. Fuck you. You're not a fan. Get out of my face. We got to have the realm of possibility. Even as infinitesimal it is, we have to allow that probability to still be in our head, a possibility, because it is. It's true. Everybody can possibly still win the NBA championship right now. Nobody is mathematically disqualified from it. So let's believe we can do it. Darren, too many trolls, not enough hammers. You make me think of that whack-a-mole game at the putt-putt. That was fun. You get the tickets, and then you go put it in at the store, and you get a troll, one of those ones with the crazy hair. Yes, those are the trolls I like, the Wishnick trolls, those old trolls. Negative nannies, miserable in their own lives, and they get high on all insulting others. Yes, some people are so miserable in their lives, they have no control in their regular lives, that they seek control over other people's emotions, and that is what they enjoy. Like, they just want to be, oh, you're triggered. Oh, you're triggered. You're triggered. Like, they love to say that. Oh, you're triggered. Oh, don't get triggered. If somebody says triggered to you, fuck them, because they're trying to trigger you. That's code for I'm an asshole and I'm trying to get a rise out of you, because I feel like when somebody is emotional because I cause them to be emotional, I feel like I have some sort of power in my life. That's so sad and pathetic. Get a better hobby. That's what I'm saying. All right. Darren, Lakers, Dallas, Raps. There's a 3-way trade. Yeah, I've been hearing a little bit of rumblings about 3-way trades. It wasn't with the Lakers, though. It was with another team. Yeah, Westbrook is on the block. So this could be possible. Westbrook, Pascal, Dragic, and Porzingis. And we end up getting Porzingis. Is that what you're saying? Let's see, numbers work, but Dallas sends out 4 and gets Westbrook and Goran, and then we get Porzingis. Now, see, remember, once again, we're basically giving up Pascal and Dragic to get Porzingis. But, man, I don't know. You know what? I think Dallas might do that, though, Darren, because they really do want to get Dragic, and I don't know, man. Ooh, that's tough. Once again, I don't want to get too bogged down in trade speculation, stuff like that. If something develops or something like that happens, I think it's too early to start doing this, because I think that the team's really trying to work it out with things. They're not going to send Pascal away all of a sudden like that just to try and, get a center like Porzingis, because I don't think Porzingis in some ways is a center. He's just basically another Chris Boucher, like with really skinny, and he's not going to actually give us what we want in that we're crying out for, which is another guy who can seal like Khem Birch. We need somebody with more size, because people can get around Porzingis and he can be bodied, and there's other things like that. So he's not necessarily, to me, I don't even look at him as a center. To me, in some ways, he's like a power forward or small forward, even. Like, he's a small forward the way he plays, because he's not that physical, and he really doesn't do really well in low post defense. So I don't think that Porzingis is the answer, and I don't know if I necessarily want him on this team, because I don't think he's a good team player either. Like, he's kind of an asshole, I think. Let's see. That is the trade. Okay. Hey Andrew. Let's go Sacramento Kings tonight. That's a crazy arena for us. We have some bad luck in that arena. The refs will mess with us. They've got good shooters. They've got some good size. We got to come out there and play them, our game, really strong. And we need to execute. We need Pascal Siakam to come out there tonight and show all the things we wanted him to show last night, tonight. And Kem Birch, you start again and you do great things like you did in the first half of the game last night, whether it's sealing out the defense down around the basket, getting those offensive rebounds, getting the defensive rebounds so they don't get second chance shots, and maybe just a little bit of two-man pick and roll action around the middle of the lane with Fred VanVleet where you get those nice little dump baskets really easy and quick. Oh, yeah, that's what I want to see tonight. We can't let Buddy Hield get going. We can't let Halliburton. What kind of name is Halliburton? Isn't that a company or something like that? We can't let these guys get going tonight like we let Utah get going last night. Utah got going. That's the thing. We can set the tone if we stifle their three-point shooting at the beginning of the game. And some of these games recently, we have not stifled their three-point shooting where they're shooting a low percentage. They're shooting high percentage at threes. And we were doing that better at the beginning of the season, stopping their three-point shooting from being so efficient. So we need to really key on that again tonight and stifle that defense, stifle that offense at the three-point line, and also just play really good defense on them tonight. I think we're more evenly matched with Sacramento tonight, and we should come out there with energy and beat them tonight. We need this one so bad, so bad. That's right. Let's go. Let's win the rest of this trip. That means going to Golden State and beating Steph and the crew on Sunday. Oh, yeah, we're crazy. We are delusional Raptor fans that believe pie in the sky. We can win the championship. We can beat Golden State. We can beat all these damn teams because it's the damn truth. We just have to show the right effort, get the right moon phase. Last night there was a lunar eclipse. Maybe that can help us. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We're going to get there. It's just that it's a development. It's trying different things and learning and getting better over time. Oh, yeah. Tough game, guys. But it is what it is. Porzingis and Moses B save tons of money. Now, Moses B's involved in that, and Porzingis is kind of like, he's just the throw-in for the money. And then, we can maybe even turn around and trade him or just not sign him again when his contract runs out. That could be a good deal because we're getting the prospect of Moses Brown. So, all right, let's keep going. I'm going to finish this up, though. We're right at an hour. Okay, Alistair. Pascal trade rumors pissing me off. Porzingis will never be an all-NBA player. Yeah, Porzingis has all these kind of great tools and talents. I mean, he had a good situation in New York to succeed, but he clashes with people. Like even when we played them early in the season this year, he didn't look like he gets along with that team. I don't think him and Luka are buddies. If you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're totally that cool with each other. And there's a weird dynamic on the Dallas team that's underlying that people don't realize. All right, because I think Porzingis has problems with people in general in some ways. And it was shown in New York and now in Dallas. I don't know if he's exactly like a fit for anybody just because of who he is and how he is. I don't know. Darren, yeah, agreed. If you look at trades, people should do their homework. There's all these unrealistic trades. Just because they work in the GM machine on the computer doesn't mean there's any way in hell that they would happen in real life. Like people think, just because it matches up and the computer says that it's green, you could do this. Let's just do this. It's like there's so many other factors involved, whether it's personalities involved, the GMs, who's actually willing to do what with what player. The value of the player may be way more valued more than what they're getting paid right now. Or it could be the opposite. It could be they're getting paid way more than they're actually worth, like Goran Dragic. So it's very, very complicated. And let's leave it to the professionals, Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri, guys. We don't know more about being a general manager than Bobby Webster. And that's why these idiots that are out there writing all these articles or doing YouTube content on what the trade needs to be and stuff like that, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just talking out of their ass. So let's see. Yeah, they just say trade P. Trade them for who? Yeah, we don't know yet. I mean, it's not really, I think it's so ambiguous about the idea of who you can get in a trade. And like, sometimes this is a thing. Trades are risky. You could trade a really good player like Pascal and get dog shit back for him. And everybody will be like, why did you trade Pascal for this piece of crap? Like it's not a real 100% thing. Like they really need to be worked out and figured out. And fans don't realize how much goes into that. And sometimes it's a time thing too. They really like only windows are open for doing these trades in certain times. And then, talks may go and then they're like, no deal. And we're like, we're not talking to them anymore, kind of stuff. That stuff happens. We don't even know it's happening because it's not public to us. So these armchair GMs, these guys that are at home that figured out how we can make our roster so perfect, yeah, that's wishful thinking, but that's not reality. You have to sit in that office, Bobby Webster's office, and understand what the real landscape of the NBA is with trades and how they work and stuff like that to really understand what's realistic, because it's not as easy as all that. Let's see. We don't need to trade P. Send him to the G League. The family. Good morning, man. I'm glad you're actually. That's a very intriguing idea. I mean, Serge Ibaka just did a stint in the G League, and it was really good for him and good for the young players that he was around too. So I would only, the best time to send somebody to the G League though is after an injury, and maybe we should have sent him there to play a couple games. But it is kind of also like that's somewhere that Pascal's already been. And he's gone through that whole kind of thing and stuff like that. And, he went back there to work out with them basically because of his kind of a homecoming. And he has the ability to come in there and talk to the young guys who are in there presently and say, yeah, I was you guys like 4 years ago and look at me now kind of thing. And, that's where the worth is in it. But I don't know. I mean, that's an intriguing idea of the family. I would like to see how he would do at that level. Or maybe if he went down there, he could really clean up some of the problems he's having with his offense right now. I don't know. I don't understand completely what's wrong with Pascal. Like I see inefficiencies with his movement or that he's just trying too hard or he's just getting hit or whatever. There's a lot of different things in the factors that are causing him to miss bunnies and easy shots and stuff like that. So let's see. Most trolls don't even do that. Yeah, they just keep shouting, get a center, get a center. Yeah, they don't know. Pascal should have gone to the G League or bench the races. There's another person saying go to the G League. Yeah, I mean, I do worry that sometimes that we bring guys back too quickly. Like maybe ease them back in a little more. Maybe that is like use the G League more for guys coming back from injury. And would it be weird to see OG go to G League before he came back? Like just played one game down there or something like that. Why can't we do that like baseball? That's what baseball does with AAA, AA, and all that kind of stuff. They don't just bring a guy right back to the major leagues. They have him go down and shoot and hit for a little while down there to get their game back. And maybe that is something we could do. I don't know about the rules with how you can do it. Like there may be only a certain amount of people that can go down there or eligible or stuff like that. Because, on the down low, some teams could be like loading up their G League team just to get G League championships. Oh, yeah, Pascal, OG, and Fred, they're all on the G League this week because they're injured. That sounds really devious and weird and dumb, but they could do that if teams could send anybody down the G League. Like, why not? We're not going to win the world. We're not going to win the NBA championship this year, so let's go all in for the G League championship. You're all on G League this year. It's like that'd be funny. All right, let's see. Yeah, ease him in. His D is weak. His D is weird. Like, I don't know. Pascal he does really good defensive things and then half the time he misses an assignment. It's like he's either really good and on it or he's not doing good. And I don't know what's going on there. His footwork is too slow and lead-like. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with these guys. It's really weird. Yeah, maybe it is that he's not in NBA shape, Darren. You might be right. He's out of shape, and they know they're trying to speed up the process, but it's hurting him. That could be. What you guys are saying right now. It shows, and it's hurting the team. Yeah, this is more of a reason for Nick Nurse to give more minutes to the bench and let Pascal have less time on the court. But, he didn't play a super whole lot last night. He got 31 minutes. That's 4 points in 31 minutes is really bad, really bad. Okay, let's keep going. Andrew, we invested a lot in Pascal. We can't give up on him after a few games. This is the voice of reason and sanity, guys. Andrew is the voice of sanity we all need to listen to today. because it's like nobody's going to be perfect all the time. We all have ups and downs in our own lives. Our bodies have natural biorhythms that go through where we're off and not. Like I had an off day a couple of days ago where I couldn't do jack shit. I was like, man, I feel awful. And the weather was kind of shitty outside. I was feeling low pressure. And I'm like, my biorhythm is really off. You know that one I'm talking about. Sometimes you just have days like that where your body's biorhythm is off. And some days you're just like really on and everything's easy. So it's like some days are better than others. It's just how it is. We got to realize that. And it's really hard to get that good consistency sometimes, especially when you're trying to come back with conditioning from an injury with Pascal. It's tough. It's a tough balance. So let's keep going. Yeah, it's his D really. It's a real problem for us. Yeah, on the down low, Pascal has hurt us on defense in some ways. I am not worried about his offense. His D is what we need. This is part of the problem. All the reach-in fouls and not moving to stay in front. I think that they're really going to have to readjust this aggressiveness on their defense because it is allowing the other team to get too many easy baskets. And maybe it's just, excuse me, sorry. Maybe it's just allowing certain players to not get doubled. Like just realizing, okay, is this really a premium offensive player that we need to send two guys at for a trap? No. So stay home on your guy that you're already guarding. And, that may help a lot of things there because we're rotating really hard. Like we're running at every player and everything and we're getting going, but we're not catching up. And it may be that we're just over committing on that initial first double too hard and we can't recover. Like they're passing the ball too fast. And usually to that last guy, we're not getting there. We're just getting a run out and we're kind of getting it agitated, but not good enough. And I don't think it's completely all Pascal's fault, but he has looked like it's been a part of it. And it has coincided with him and how when he started playing, we haven't been as good since Pascal came back. And that's scary. I don't like that. I really don't. All right, let's see. The family. Pascal used to get points in transition. He's completely stopped running up and down the court and does ISO all time. Yeah. Yeah, he should be more of a transition guy. Remember when he was young and he used to run the court like that motor? He had that motor and everybody would be like, wow, Pascal's just so quick up and down the court. Remember that? Those were nice days when he would run and fill it up and stuff like that. He'd get easy baskets that way. And maybe that's true. He needs to find his offense in different ways. They don't need to keep going to this isolation where he keeps trying to go through two guys. Like I was saying earlier in the live stream, it's like he needs to start passing out of that double team faster and more often. So they expect that more often than him just trying to force it because they expect him to force it right now. And he's not getting the call and he's losing the ball and he's missing the shot. So that's when he needs to pass it. As soon as he sees that second guy coming at him, he needs to pass it. So that's just basketball. I mean, we know this. Let's see. The family. Okay. Darren. He is not expected to run and gun UNLV style anymore. Yeah, he was for a while. He was doing that. That was part of the bench mob's mentality when he was on the bench mob with that great team off the bench. They were a run and gun UNLV kind of team. Yeah, that was a part of his game that we all enjoyed. But I think he can get it back from time to time. I don't know. I think honestly, maybe the conditioning is really hurting him right now. But it isn't the total reason why they're losing. You're right, Darren. There's issues in a lot of different places, and a lot of it has to do with the other team shooting so well, the other team playing really good defense against us. Like we're not doing so well, partly on our offense because we're playing against pretty good defenses. Like Utah has a good defensive team. Rudy Gobert near the basket is really hard to deal with. And you have a lot of veterans and they know what they're doing. It's just hard to get the ball around or try and score on a team like that. So it's a combination of a lot of different things. And it's just, we've got to get the right amount of water in our jug to get up over the other team with their jug in different ways. And our advantages aren't working out for us right now. The ones who like stealing, forcing turnovers, getting offensive rebounds, getting extra shots and stuff like that. It's not working out for us because the other team's just shooting so well against us. We can't have the other team shoot so well. And that's been like the last 3 games, really bad. Let's see. We'll finish it up soon. Pascal's issues. Okay, yeah, we just read that. Lots of solo efforts when you need everyone to win these games. Fred VanVleet can't win us every game. We've seen great D. We've seen, although less often, great offense. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't like all the isolation ball. We have great players in all kinds of different places. I'm sick of them setting up isolation. It's lazy. It smacks of me that like Nick Nurse does not have offensive sets for them to learn and to try and play. And where is this flex offense that Trevor Gleason has brought to us from Australia? Right now, it just looks like set up on one half of the court and let the guy try and beat him one-on-one, whether it's Fred, Pascal, or OG, or Scotty even. And I don't like that. I think that you're right. I think that the other teams are beating us with team games, with passing and schemes. And right now we're just playing a lazy isolation offense that just doesn't, that can be stopped. And that's a big part of the problem right now. All right, Darren, let's go 4-0 on the way home. I love that. Let's pick up 4 wins on the way home. We'll get this one tonight against the Kings. Always want to beat the Kings. The Kings. And then we'll go to Golden State on Sunday. And then we got Memphis. And then we got Indiana. And then we're back against the Celtics. So it's like that's a trap game too. That game against the Celtics, when we come back, it's always tough to win the first home game back after a road trip. And they set us up with the Celtics at home. That's on purpose. I'm telling you, that's totally on purpose. But that's going to be a tough one. Let's see. Birch and Freddie are golden together. I love that combo. They're great together. Yeah, why didn't they do that all night? That pick and roll. Birch had like all these points in the first half. We didn't see anything from him in the second half. We hardly saw anything from Fred. Fred had that really nice little hot streak where he was like balling. I loved that when he had that swagger and he was just scoring like those shots. Big time stuff. But once again, these are first half heroes. Where's the second half hero? We need second half heroes also. Whether it's OG, Fred, Kim, Pascal, Scotty, whoever. Just we need a second half hero. And Gary Trent can be steady and pouring on some syrup a little bit here and there on the pancakes all game. But then we need somebody to come in with the heavy dose of syrup on top of the pancakes and the big pat of butter right in the middle to get the win. That's what we need. Let's see. Birch should have had 40. He was playing Gobert. Come on, man. I think Utah adjusted that they need to figure out some other schemes together. They work. Yeah, Gary Trent Jr. is the go-to then. I feel most comfortable when Gary Trent has the ball to shoot. Yeah. I mean, it just looks pretty. And you can see the mechanics. You can see that he's a real shooter. And that, it really was in the beginning of the season. He was just trying to get his rhythm, right. And now you see he's getting his rhythm, and it's nasty. It's nasty because he could do this all day. We could set him up in different kinds of like plays and schemes. He could do this all day. And I love the fact that he's getting these little hedges and little screens from different guys, and he just takes a really quick pop and it goes in. It's really good. We need more of that. And oh my gosh, thank God he's good. Thank God he's good right now. Gary Trent has been like kind of our MVP on the down low in a lot of ways right now. All right, guys. We got to beat Sacramento tonight. Last night was a tough loss, but you know what? We had a half of a really good game for half the game. And I was really, really happy that Nick Nurse did better with the rotations. He also did really smart by playing Khem Birch and starting him. And hopefully this will stick. Like, I'd like to see Khem Birch stay in the starting lineup for good going forward now. I don't care if we're playing somebody small. Play him anyways, because even if he's playing against somebody small, he can get some good stuff going like we saw last night. So, yeah. All right, guys. Let's see. Oh, just one more. Darren goes fast and slow and fake on Gobert. Yeah, the Gary Trent stuff, like getting around guys, and even that Fred move where he did that little step back and then shot over like to the side. Really cool stuff, like spinning and faking and stuff like that. Really good stuff. All right. Yeah, we should be winning all the games. This is how it would be in a perfect world. But we're a developing team, and we're on our way up. We just got to go through the growing pains and learn and tough stuff. This is stuff that Scotty Barnes and Delano Banton will remember for their whole careers, and it'll be a part of their player DNA, that they learned the hard knocks on the Toronto Raptors in their rookie year. And that's just how it is. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Darren. Thanks, Sue. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, G, Andrew, the family, Alistair, everybody. I really appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's have a great Friday, guys. And seriously, catch the doubleheader tonight. Watch the 9:05 at 7, and then watch the Raps at 10. It's all lined up perfect tonight for all-night basketball. If you're a loser like me and you don't go out to the bars and clubs and you just want to be at home with your Raptors watching basketball, maybe with your own little fun stuff, have a great weekend, y'all. Let's get this win tonight. I believe. I am not a troll fan. I believe.